The rancher's promise beneath the silent sky. The dusty roads of Cedar Ridge had witnessed countless stories of heartbreak, sacrifice, and hope. Yet none touched the town more deeply than the tale of Clara Whitmore, the young widow of Sheriff Thomas Whitmore. Thomas had been a brave man, respected by everyone in town. He had protected Cedar Ridge from outlaws for years until one cold autumn evening, he lost his life while saving innocent travelers from a gang of robbers. His death left Clara alone with a struggling ranch, mounting debts, and painful memories she could never escape. For nearly 2 years, Clara lived quietly. She worked from sunrise until sunset, refusing charity from anyone. Although many admired her strength, few dared to approach her. To the townsfolk, she still belonged to the memory of the late sheriff. Miles Carter was different. Miles was a quiet rancher who lived several miles outside Cedar Ridge. He was known for his honesty, hard work, and gentle heart. Long before Clara married Sheriff Whitmore, Miles had secretly admired her. But he had buried those feelings when she chose another man. Now fate had brought them together again. One spring morning, Clara rode into town to meet the bank manager. Her ranch was weeks away from foreclosure. "I'm sorry, Mrs. Whitmore," the banker said with sympathy. "Unless someone settles the debt within 10 days, we'll have no choice." Clara nodded silently. She walked outside trying not to cry. Miles happened to be delivering cattle nearby. Seeing the sadness in her eyes, he removed his hat. "Everything all right?" She forced a smile. "I'll manage." But he knew she wouldn't. That evening, Miles visited the bank and quietly paid half her debt using nearly all his savings. When Clara discovered what he had done, she confronted him. "You had no right. I wasn't trying to offend you. I don't need saving." "I know," Miles replied softly. "I only wanted to give you a little more time." She stared at him for several moments before walking away without another word. Days later, disaster struck again. A wildfire swept across the valley, destroying fences and much of Clara's grazing land. Neighbors helped where they could, but rebuilding required money no one possessed. The town council proposed a solution. If Clara and Miles marry, one elder suggested, their ranches together could survive. The idea shocked both of them. Clara refused immediately. "I won't marry because people think it's practical." Miles agreed. Marriage should never be forced. But circumstances grew worse. The bank demanded immediate payment. The ranch workers left. Winter supplies were running low. Finally, Clara visited Miles one evening. "I have a proposal." "I'm listening." "This won't be a real marriage." He remained silent. "We marry for 1 year. We save the ranches. After that, we decide our own futures." Miles looked into her eyes. "If that's truly what you want." She nodded. "I'll agree." Their wedding was simple. No music. No celebration. Only a small church, a handful of witnesses, and promises neither believed would become real. Life together was awkward. They slept in separate rooms. Shared meals in silence. Worked side by side without speaking much. Yet slowly, tiny moments changed everything. Miles always left fresh coffee waiting before sunrise. When Clara injured her hand repairing a fence, he quietly finished the work himself. During storms, he checked every window before she even noticed the wind. He never expected thanks. One snowy evening, Clara found an old music box on her bedside table. "My mother's," Miles explained. "You should keep it. I think it belongs somewhere it'll be appreciated." She smiled for the first time in weeks. As spring returned, so did hope. Their ranch flourished. Healthy calves filled the fields. Wildflowers covered the hills. The debts slowly disappeared. The townspeople noticed something else. Clara laughed again. Miles smiled more often. One afternoon they rode together across the open plains. "You miss him?" Miles said gently. She nodded. "Every day. You don't have to stop loving your memories." She looked surprised. "I could never ask you to." Tears filled her eyes. Most people think I should simply move on. I think love leaves room for new beginnings. Those words stayed with her. Weeks later, an old outlaw named Victor Kane escaped prison. Years earlier, Thomas Whitmore had arrested him. Seeking revenge, Kane returned to Cedar Ridge. Learning Clara had remarried, he decided to make her suffer. One night, Kane and his gang attacked the Carter Ranch. They burned the barn and kidnapped Clara. Miles returned from town to find smoke rising into the sky. Without hesitation, he saddled his fastest horse. The sheriff warned him. There are 6 of them. I know. You'll be killed. Maybe. Then wait for help. Miles shook his head. They have my wife. Through forests and rocky hills, he tracked the gang until sunrise. At an abandoned mining camp, he found Clara tied inside an old cabin. Kane laughed. The sheriff died protecting this woman. And now you'll die too. Miles stepped forward calmly. You don't want her. I want revenge. Take me instead. Clara shouted. No. Kane smiled cruelly. Interesting. Before anyone could react, Miles lunged toward the outlaw. A fierce fight erupted. Gunshots echoed through the mountains. Finally, the sheriff and his deputies arrived after following Miles' trail. The gang surrendered. Kane was arrested once again. Clara ran straight into Miles' arms. For the first time since their wedding, she held him tightly. I thought I'd lost you. You won't. Back home, Clara spent weeks helping Miles recover from his injuries. Every morning she changed his bandages. Every evening they talked by the fireplace. They spoke about dreams, about fears, about Thomas, about the future. One evening Miles quietly removed his wedding ring. Our agreement ends tomorrow. She looked at the ring resting in his hand. You kept every promise. I said you'd always be free. She reached across the table and closed his fingers around the ring. I don't want freedom from you. He looked confused. I married you because I had no choice. She smiled through tears. But I stayed because I fell in love. For several seconds neither spoke. Then Miles whispered, Are you sure? She nodded. I've never been more certain. He slipped the ring back onto his finger. Then, under the golden sunset stretching across the endless western sky, he gently kissed her. This time there were no forced promises. No debts. No obligations. Only 2 hearts choosing each other. Months later, Cedar Ridge celebrated the grand reopening of the Carter Ranch. Children played among the fields. Neighbors gathered for music and dancing. The sheriff himself raised a toast to second chances. Everyone cheered. Clara glanced at Miles, who was laughing with the ranch hands. She realized happiness had never replaced her past. It had simply grown beside it. Love, she learned, was not about forgetting yesterday. It was about finding someone willing to walk beside you into tomorrow. And beneath the endless western sky, where courage met compassion and hope outlived sorrow, Clara and Miles built a home filled with laughter, trust, and unconditional love, a love that proved the strongest hearts are often healed not by time alone, but by kindness, sacrifice, and